What was your don't tell mom about this moment? When our first grader, Jake, lashed out at a classmate with scissors, I made a decision I'd come to regret. My wife, Sarah, was battling stage 2 lymphoma at the time. Her second round of chemo had just begun that morning. The strain of cancer had her constantly sick, barely sleeping. I couldn't bring myself to tell her that our son had slashed another kid's face with safety scissors. The school called while I was knee deep in work spreadsheets. Jake had cut a clean line down Ethan's cheek after being teased about his mom losing her hair. Ethan needed 11 stitches, and his parents were demanding Jake's expulsion. If expelled, he'd lose his spot in the gifted program. Plus, Sarah always said therapy hadn't worked for his anger issues before. We'd already poured $5,000 into specialists with little progress. I drove straight to the school. Jake sat alone outside the principal's office, knees pulled to his chest. I dropped down beside him. He told me Ethan had drawn a picture of his mom without hair and showed it around at lunch. He said kids had been whispering about her for weeks. That's when Jake grabbed the plastic scissors from the art bin and snapped. The principal showed me the security footage. Jake didn't just strike once. He slashed 5 times before the teacher finally pulled him away. Blood streaked across the white lunch table. I felt sick. This wasn't the boy I knew. I met with Ethan's parents at a coffee shop. They were surprisingly understanding. His mom, Lisa, was a nurse. She knew how kids sometimes act out under pressure. They agreed not to press charges if I kept Jake away from their son. No shared classes, no crossing paths. Jake had to switch to afternoon kindergarten instead of morning. But that meant lying to Sarah. I told her the schedule had changed because the gifted program needed to shuffle things around. She accepted it. With the medication she was on, she mostly slept through my explanations anyway. Jake's behavior got worse. He started acting out at home, punching walls when he got frustrated. 2 weeks later, the guidance counselor pulled me aside. She'd found Jake's journal during lunch. Every page was filled with death threats against Ethan and his family, along with sketches of his mom in a casket. She told me Jake needed immediate professional help. I agreed, but I begged her not to tell Sarah. Piling therapy bills on top of cancer treatments would ruin us. She looked at me like I was insane, but agreed to keep it confidential. I drove Jake to secret therapy sessions every Tuesday after school, 2 hours each way so Sarah wouldn't find out. I told her he'd joined the chess club. Jake hated it, but his outbursts began to taper off. The psychologist diagnosed him with severe anxiety and put him on medication. Then Sarah's hair started growing back. Short, fuzzy strands at first. Jake noticed right away and brightened up. But at her next scan, they found new spots on her liver. Secondary cancer. She cried for hours. I couldn't explain why